Chapters 30 to 36 of the Book of Jeremiah, from the World English Bible. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Jeremiah, from the World English Bible, chapters 30 to 36. Chapter 30. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus speaks Yahweh, the God of Israel, saying, Write you all the words that I have spoken to you in a book. For behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will turn again the captivity of my people Israel and Judah, says Yahweh, and I will cause them to return to the land that I gave to their fathers, and they shall possess it. These are the words that Yahweh spoke concerning Israel and concerning Judah. For thus says Yahweh, We have heard a voice of trembling, of fear, and not of peace. Ask now, and see whether a man does travail with child. Why do I see every man with his hands on his waist, as a woman in travail, and all the faces are turned into paleness? Alas! For that day is great, so that none is like it. It is even the time of Jacob's trouble, but he shall be saved out of it. It shall come to pass in that day, says Yahweh of armies, that I will break his yoke from off your neck, and will burst your bonds, and strangers shall no more make him their bondservant. But they shall serve Yahweh their God, and David their king, whom I will raise up to them. Therefore don't you be afraid, O Jacob my servant, says Yahweh. Neither be dismayed, Israel. For behold, I will save you from afar, and your seed from the land of their captivity. And Jacob shall return, and shall be quiet and at ease, and none shall make him afraid. For I am with you, says Yahweh, to save you. For I will make a full end of all the nations where I have scattered you, but I will not make a full end of you. But I will correct you in measure, and will in no way leave you unpunished. For thus says Yahweh, Your hurt is incurable, and your wound grievous. There is none to plead your cause, that you may be bound up. You have no healing medicines. All your lovers have forgotten you, they don't seek you. For I have wounded you with the wound of an enemy, with the chastisement of a cruel one, for the greatness of your iniquity, because your sins were increased. Why cry you for your hurt? Your pain is incurable. For the greatness of your iniquity, because your sins were increased, I have done these things to you. Therefore all those who devour you shall be devoured, and all your adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity. And those who despoil you shall be a spoil, and all who prey on you I will give for a prey. For I will restore health to you, and I will heal you of your wounds, says Yahweh, because they have called you an outcast, saying, It is Zion, whom no man seeks after. Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will turn again the captivity of Jacob's tents, and have compassion on his dwelling places, and the city shall be built on its own hill, and the palace shall be inhabited after its own manner. Out of them shall proceed thanksgiving, and the voice of those who make merry. And I will multiply them, and they shall not be few. I will also glorify them, and they shall not be small. Their children also shall be as before, and their congregation shall be established before me. And I will punish all who oppress them. Their prince shall be of themselves, and their ruler shall proceed from the midst of them. And I will cause him to draw near, and he shall approach to me. For who is he who has had boldness to approach me, says Yahweh? You shall be my people, and I will be your God. Behold, the storm of Yahweh, even his wrath, is gone forth, a sweeping storm. It shall burst on the head of the wicked. The fierce anger of Yahweh shall not return until he has executed, and until he have performed the intents of his heart. In the latter days you shall understand it. Chapter 31. At that time, says Yahweh, will I be the God of all the families of Israel, and they shall be my people. Thus says Yahweh, the people who were left of the sword found favor in the wilderness, even Israel, when I went to cause him to rest. Yahweh appeared of old to me, saying, Yes, I have loved you with an everlasting love, therefore with loving kindness have I drawn you. Again will I build you, and you shall be built, O Virgin of Israel. Again you shall be adorned with your tambourines, and shall go forth in the dances of those who make merry. Again you shall plant vineyards in the mountains of Samaria. The planters shall plant, and shall enjoy its fruit. For there shall be a day, that the watchmen on the hills of Ephraim shall cry, Arise you, and let us go up to Zion, to Yahweh our God. For thus says Yahweh, Sing with gladness for Jacob, and shout for the chief of the nations. Publish you, praise you, and say, Yahweh, save your people, the remnant of Israel. Behold, I will bring them from the north country, and gather them from the uttermost parts of the earth, and with them the blind and the lame, the woman with child, and her who travails with child together. A great company shall they return here. They shall come with weeping, and with petitions will I lead them. I will cause them to walk by rivers of waters, in a straight way in which they shall not stumble. For I am a father to Israel, and Ephraim is my firstborn. Hear the word of Yahweh, you nations, and declare it in the islands far off. And say, He who scattered Israel will gather him, and keep him, as shepherd does his flock. For Yahweh has ransomed Jacob, and redeemed him from the hand of him who was stronger than he. They shall come and sing in the height of Zion, and shall flow to the goodness of Yahweh, to the grain, and to the new wine, and to the oil, and to the young of the flock and of the herd. And their soul shall be as a watered garden, and they shall not sorrow any more at all. Then shall the virgin rejoice in the dance, and the young men and the old together. For I will turn their mourning into joy, and will comfort them, and make them rejoice from their sorrow. I will satiate the soul of the priests with fatness, and my people shall be satisfied with my goodness, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, A voice is heard in Ramah, lamentation and bitter weeping, Rachel weeping for her children. She refuses to be comforted for her children, because they are no more. Thus says Yahweh, Refrain your voice from weeping, and your eyes from tears, for your work shall be rewarded, says Yahweh, and they shall come again from the land of the enemy. There is hope for your latter end, says Yahweh, and your children shall come again to their own border. I have surely heard Ephraim bemoaning himself thus, You have chastised me, and I was chastised, as a calf unaccustomed to the yoke. Turn you me, and I shall be turned, for you are Yahweh my God. Surely after that I was turned, I repented, and after that I was instructed, I struck on my thigh, I was ashamed, yes, even confounded, because I did bear the reproach of my youth. Is Ephraim my dear son? Is he a darling child? For as often as I speak against him, I do earnestly remember him still. Therefore my heart yearns for him. I will surely have mercy on him, says Yahweh. Set up road signs, make guideposts. Set your heart toward the highway, even the way by which you went. Turn again, Virgin of Israel, turn again to these your cities. How long will you go here and there, you backsliding daughter? For Yahweh has created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall encompass a man. Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Yet again shall they use this speech in the land of Judah and in its cities, when I shall bring again their captivity. Yahweh bless you, habitation of righteousness, mountain of holiness. Judah and all its cities shall dwell therein together, the farmers and those who go out with flocks. For I have satiated the weary soul, and every sorrowful soul have I replenished. On this I awakened and saw, and my sleep was sweet to me. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man, and with the seed of animal. It shall happen that, like as I have watched over them to pluck up and to break down and to overthrow and to destroy and to afflict, so will I watch over them to build and to plant, says Yahweh. In those days they shall say no more, The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and the children's teeth are set on edge. But every one shall die for his own iniquity. Every man who eats the sour grapes, his teeth shall be set on edge. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah. not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day that I took them by the hand to bring them out of the land of Egypt, which my covenant they broke, although I was a husband to them, says Yahweh. But this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, says Yahweh. I will put my law in their inward parts, and in their heart will I write it. And I will be their God, and they shall be my people. And they shall teach no more every man his neighbor, and every man his brother, saying, Know Yahweh. For they shall all know me, from the least of them to the greatest of them, says Yahweh. For I will forgive their iniquity, and their sin will I remember no more. Thus says Yahweh, who gives the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, who stirs up the sea so that its waves roar. Yahweh of armies is his name. If these ordinances depart from before me, says Yahweh, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever. Thus says Yahweh, if heaven above can be measured, and the foundations of the earth searched out beneath, then will I also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that the city shall be built to Yahweh from the tower of Hananel to the gate of the corner. The measuring line shall go out further straight onward to the hill Gareb, and shall turn about to Goah. The whole valley of the dead bodies and of the ashes, and all the fields to the brook Kidron, to the corner of the horse gate toward the east, shall be holy to Yahweh. It shall not be plucked up, nor thrown down any more forever. Chapter 32. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the 10th year of Zedekiah king of Judah, which was the 18th year of Nebuchadnezzar. Now at that time the king of Babylon's army was besieging Jerusalem, and Jeremiah the prophet was shut up in the court of the guard, which was in the king of Judah's house. For Zedekiah king of Judah had shut him up, saying, Why do you prophesy, and say, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall take it, and Zedekiah king of Judah shall not escape out of the hand of the Chaldeans, but shall surely be delivered into the hand of the king of Babylon, and shall speak with him mouth to mouth, and his eyes shall see his eyes, and he shall bring Zedekiah to Babylon, and there shall be he until I visit him, says Yahweh. Though you fight with the Chaldeans, you shall not prosper. Jeremiah said, The word of Yahweh came to me, saying, Behold, Hanamel son of Shallum, your uncle, shall come to you, saying, Buy you my field that is in Anathoth, for the right of redemption is yours to buy it. So Hanamel my uncle's son came to me in the court of the guard, according to the word of Yahweh, and said to me, Please buy my field that is in Anathoth, which is in the land of Benjamin, for the right of inheritance is yours, and the redemption is yours. Buy it for yourself. Then I knew that this was the word of Yahweh. I bought the field that was in Anathoth of Hanamel, my uncle's son, and weighed him the money, even 17 shekels of silver. I subscribed the deed, and sealed it, and called witnesses, and weighed him the money in the balances. So I took the deed of the purchase, both that which was sealed, containing the terms and conditions, and that which was open, and I delivered the deed of the purchase to Baruch the son of Neriah, the son of Maaseiah, in the presence of Hanamel my uncle's son, and in the presence of the witnesses who subscribed the deed of the purchase, before all the Jews who sat in the court of the guard. I commanded Baruch before him, saying, Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Take these deeds, this deed of the purchase which is sealed, and this deed which is open, and put them in an earthen vessel, that they may continue many days. For thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Houses and fields and vineyards shall yet again be bought in this land. Now after I had delivered the deed of the purchase to Baruch the son of Neriah, I prayed to Yahweh, saying, Ah, Lord Yahweh, behold, you have made the heavens and the earth by your great power and by your outstretched arm. There is nothing too hard for you, who show loving-kindness to thousands, and recompense the iniquity of the fathers into the bosom of their children after them. The great, the mighty God, Yahweh of armies is his name, great in counsel and mighty in work, whose eyes are open on all the ways of the sons of men, to give everyone according to his ways, and according to the fruit of his doings; who performed signs and wonders in the land of Egypt, even to this day, both in Israel and among other men, and made you a name as in this day; and brought forth your people Israel out of the land of Egypt with signs, and with wonders, and with a strong hand, and with an outstretched arm, and with great terror; and gave them this land, which you did swear to their fathers to give them, a land flowing with milk and honey, and they came in and possessed it. But they didn't obey your voice, neither walked in your law. They have done nothing of all that you commanded them to do. Therefore you have caused all this evil to come on them. Behold, the mounds, they are come to the city to take it; and the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans who fight against it, because of the sword, and of the famine, and of the pestilence. And what you have spoken has happened; and behold, you see it. You have said to me, Lord Yahweh, Buy you the field for money, and call witnesses; whereas the city is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Then came the word of Yahweh to Jeremiah, saying, Behold, I am Yahweh, the God of all flesh. Is there anything too hard for me? Therefore thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the Chaldeans, and into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon; and he shall take it; and the Chaldeans, who fight against this city, shall come and set this city on fire, and burn it, with the houses, on whose roofs they have offered incense to Baal, and poured out drink offerings to other gods, to provoke me to anger. For the children of Israel and the children of Judah have done only that which was evil in my sight from their youth. For the children of Israel have only provoked me to anger with the work of their hands, says Yahweh. For this city has been to me a provocation of my anger and of my wrath, from the day that they built it even to this day, that I should remove it from before my face, because of all the evil of the children of Israel and of the children of Judah, which they have done to provoke me to anger, they, their kings, their princes, their priests, and their prophets, and the men of Judah, and the inhabitants of Jerusalem. They have turned to me the back, and not the face. And though I taught them, rising up early and teaching them, yet they have not listened to receive instruction. But they set their abominations in the house which is called by my name, to defile it. They built the high places of Baal, which are in the valley of the son of Hinnom, to cause their sons and their daughters to pass through the fire to Moloch, which I didn't command them, neither did it come to my mind, that they should do this abomination, to cause Judah to sin. Now therefore thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, concerning this city, about which you say, It is given into the hand of the king of Babylon by the sword, and by the famine, and by the pestilence. Behold, I will gather them out of all the countries, where I have driven them in my anger, and in my wrath, and in great indignation; and I will bring them again to this place, and I will cause them to dwell safely; and they shall be my people, and I will be their God. And I will give them one heart and one way, that they may fear me forever, for the good of them, and of their children after them. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, that I will not turn away from following them, to do them good. And I will put my fear in their hearts, that they may not depart from me. Yes, I will rejoice over them, to do them good. And I will plant them in this land assuredly with my whole heart and with my whole soul. For thus says Yahweh, Like as I have brought all this great evil on this people, so will I bring on them all the good that I have promised them. Fields shall be bought in this land, about which you say, It is desolate, without man or animal. It is given into the hand of the Chaldeans. Men shall buy fields for money, and subscribe the deeds, and seal them, and call witnesses, in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, and in the cities of the hill country, and in the cities of the lowland, and in the cities of the south, for I shall cause their captivity to return, says Yahweh. Chapter 33. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah the second time, while he was yet shut up in the court of the guard, saying, Thus says Yahweh who does it, Yahweh who forms it to establish it. Yahweh is his name. Call to me, and I will answer you, and will show you great things, and difficult, which you don't know. For thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, concerning the houses of this city, and concerning the houses of the kings of Judah, which were broken down, to make a defense against the mounds and against the sword, while men came to fight with the Chaldeans, and to fill them with the dead bodies of men, whom I have killed in my anger and in my wrath, and for all whose wickedness I have hid my face from this city. Behold, I will bring it health and cure, and I will cure them, and I will reveal to them abundance of peace and truth. I will cause the captivity of Judah and the captivity of Israel to return, and I will build them as at the first. I will cleanse them from all their iniquity, by which they have sinned against me. And I will pardon all their iniquities, by which they have sinned against me, and by which they have transgressed against me. This city shall be to me for a name of joy, and for a praise and for a glory, before all the nations of the earth, which shall hear all the good that I do to them, and shall fear and tremble for all the good and for all the peace that I procure to it. Thus says Yahweh, Yet again shall there be heard in this place, about which you say, It is a waste, without man and without animal, even in the cities of Judah, and in the streets of Jerusalem, they are desolate, without man and without inhabitant and without animal, the voice of joy and the voice of gladness, the voice of the bridegroom and the voice of the bride, the voice of those who say, Give thanks to Yahweh of armies, for Yahweh is good, for his loving kindness endures forever, and of them who bring sacrifices of thanksgiving into the house of Yahweh. For I will cause the captivity of the land to return as at the first, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh of armies, Yet again shall there be in this place, which is waste, without man and without animal, and in all its cities, a habitation of shepherds causing their flocks to lie down. In the cities of the hill country, in the cities of the lowland, and in the cities of the south, and in the land of Benjamin, and in the places about Jerusalem, and in the cities of Judah, shall be flocks again to pass under the hands of him who numbers them, says Yahweh. Behold, the days come, says Yahweh, that I will perform that good word which I have spoken concerning the house of Israel, and concerning the house of Judah. In those days, and at that time, will I cause a branch of righteousness to grow up to David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. In those days shall Judah be saved, and Jerusalem shall dwell safely. And this is the name by which she shall be called, Yahweh our righteousness. For thus says Yahweh, David shall never want a man to sit on the throne of the house of Israel, neither shall the priests the Levites want a man before me to offer burnt offerings, and to burn meal offerings, and to sacrifice continually. The word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Yahweh, If you can break my covenant of the day, and my covenant of the night, so that there shall not be day and night in their season, then may also my covenant be broken with David my servant, and he shall not have a son to reign on his throne, and with the Levites the priests my ministers. As the army of the sky cannot be numbered, neither the sand of the sea measured, so will I multiply the seed of David my servant, and the Levites who minister to me. The word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, saying, Don't you consider what these people has spoken, saying, The two families which Yahweh did choose, he has cast them off? Thus do they despise my people, that they should be no more a nation before them. Thus says Yahweh, If my covenant of day and night fails, if I have not appointed the ordinances of heaven and earth, then will I also cast away the seed of Jacob, and of David my servant, so that I will not take of his seed to be rulers over the seed of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. For I will cause their captivity to return, and will have mercy on them. Chapter 34. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon, and all his army, and all the kingdoms of the earth that were under his dominion, and all the peoples, were fighting against Jerusalem, and against all the cities of it, saying, Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, Go and speak to Zedekiah king of Judah, and tell him, Thus says Yahweh, Behold, I will give this city into the hand of the king of Babylon, and he shall burn it with fire. And you shall not escape out of his hand, but shall surely be taken, and delivered into his hand. And your eyes shall see the king of Babylon, and he shall speak with you mouth to mouth, and you shall go to Babylon. Yet hear the word of Yahweh, O Zedekiah king of Judah. Thus says Yahweh concerning you, You shall not die by the sword, you shall die in peace, and with the burnings of your fathers, the former kings who were before you, so shall they make a burning for you, and they shall lament you, saying, Ah, Lord! For I have spoken the word, says Yahweh. Then Jeremiah the prophet spoke all these things to Zedekiah king of Judah in Jerusalem, when the king of Babylon's army was fighting against Jerusalem, and against all the cities of Judah that were left, against Lachish, and against Azekah, for these alone remained of the cities of Judah as fortified cities. The word that came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, after that the king Zedekiah had made a covenant with all the people who were at Jerusalem, to proclaim liberty to them, that every man should let his male servant, and every man his female servant, who is a Hebrew or a Hebrewess, go free; that none should make bondservants of them, to wit, of a Jew his brother. All the princes and all the people obeyed, who had entered into the covenant, that everyone should let his male servant, and everyone his female servant, go free, that none should make bondservants of them any more. They obeyed and let them go. But afterwards they turned, and caused the servants and the handmaids, whom they had let go free, to return, and brought them into subjection for servants and for handmaids. Therefore the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Thus says Yahweh, the God of Israel, I made a covenant with your fathers in the day that I brought them forth out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage, saying, At the end of 7 years you shall let go every man his brother who is a Hebrew, who has been sold to you, and has served you 6 years, you shall let him go free from you. But your fathers didn't listen to me, neither inclined their ear. You were now turned, and had done that which is right in my eyes, in proclaiming liberty every man to his neighbor. And you had made a covenant before me in the house which is called by my name. But you turned and profaned my name, and caused every man his servant, and every man his handmaid, whom you had let go free at their pleasure, to return, and you brought them into subjection, to be to you for servants and for handmaids. Therefore thus says Yahweh, You have not listened to me, to proclaim liberty every man to his brother, and every man to his neighbor. Behold, I proclaim to you a liberty, says Yahweh, to the sword, to the pestilence, and to the famine, and I will make you to be tossed back and forth among all the kingdoms of the earth. I will give the men who have transgressed my covenant, who have not performed the words of the covenant which they made before me, when they cut the calf in two, and passed between its parts, the princes of Judah, and the princes of Jerusalem, the eunuchs, and the priests, and all the people of the land, who passed between the parts of the calf. I will even give them into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their life. And their dead bodies shall be for food to the birds of the sky, and to the animals of the earth. Zedekiah king of Judah and his princes will I give into the hand of their enemies, and into the hand of those who seek their life, and into the hand of the king of Babylon's army, who have gone away from you. Behold, I will command, says Yahweh, and cause them to return to this city, and they shall fight against it, and take it, and burn it with fire, and I will make the cities of Judah a desolation, without inhabitant. Chapter 35. The word which came to Jeremiah from Yahweh in the days of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, saying, Go to the house of the Rechabites, and speak to them, and bring them into the house of Yahweh, into one of the chambers, and give them wine to drink. Then I took Jaazaniah, the son of Jeremiah, the son of Habazaniah, and his brothers, and all his sons, and the whole house of the Rechabites, and I brought them into the house of Yahweh, into the chamber of the sons of Hanan, the son of Igdaliah, the man of God, who was by the chamber of the princes, which was above the chamber of Maaseiah the son of Shallum, the keeper of the threshold. I set before the sons of the house of the Rechabites bowls full of wine, and cups, and I said to them, drink you wine. But they said, We will drink no wine: for Jonadab the son of Rechab our father commanded us, saying, You shall drink no wine, neither you nor your sons forever. Neither shall you build house, or sow seed, nor plant vineyard, nor have any: but all your days you shall dwell in tents, that you may live many days in the land in which you sojourn. We have obeyed the voice of Jonadab the son of Rechab our father in all that he commanded us, to drink no wine all our days, we, our wives, our sons, or our daughters; nor to build houses for us to dwell in. Neither have we vineyard, nor field, nor seed: but we have lived in tents, and have obeyed, and done according to all that Jonadab our father commanded us. But it happened, when Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon came up into the land, that we said, Come, let us go to Jerusalem for fear of the army of the Chaldeans, and for fear of the army of the Syrians, so we dwell at Jerusalem. Then came the word of Yahweh to Jeremiah, saying, Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Go and tell the men of Judah and the inhabitants of Jerusalem, Will you not receive instruction to listen to my words? says Yahweh. The words of Jonadab the son of Rechab, that he commanded his sons not to drink wine, are performed; and to this day they drink none, for they obey their father's commandment. But I have spoken to you, rising up early and speaking, and you have not listened to me. I have sent also to you all my servants the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, Return you now every man from his evil way, and amend your doings, and don't go after other gods to serve them, and you shall dwell in the land which I have given to you and to your fathers. But you have not inclined your ear, nor listened to me. Because the sons of Jonadab the son of Rechab have performed the commandment of their father which he commanded them, but this people has not listened to me, therefore thus says Yahweh, God of armies, the God of Israel, Behold, I will bring on Judah, and on all the inhabitants of Jerusalem, all the evil that I have pronounced against them; because I have spoken to them, but they have not heard; and I have called to them, but they have not answered. Jeremiah said to the house of the Rechabites, Thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Because you have obeyed the commandment of Jonadab your father, and kept all his precepts, and have done according to all that he commanded you, therefore thus says Yahweh of armies, the God of Israel, Jonadab the son of Rechab shall not want a man to stand before me forever. Chapter 36. It happened in the 4th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, king of Judah, that this word came to Jeremiah from Yahweh, saying, Take a scroll of a book, and write therein all the words that I have spoken to you against Israel, and against Judah, and against all the nations, from the day I spoke to you, from the days of Josiah, even to this day. It may be that the house of Judah will hear all the evil which I purpose to do to them, that they may return every man from his evil way, that I may forgive their iniquity and their sin. Then Jeremiah called Baruch the son of Neriah, and Baruch wrote from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of Yahweh, which he had spoken to him, on a scroll of a book. Jeremiah commanded Baruch, saying, I am shut up, I can't go into the house of Yahweh. Therefore go you, and read in the scroll which you have written from my mouth, the words of Yahweh in the ears of the people in Yahweh's house, on the fast day. And also you shall read them in the ears of all Judah who come out of their cities. It may be they will present their supplication before Yahweh, and will return every one from his evil way. For great is the anger and the wrath that Yahweh has pronounced against this people. Baruch the son of Neriah did according to all that Jeremiah the prophet commanded him, reading in the book the words of Yahweh in Yahweh's house. Now it happened in the 5th year of Jehoiakim the son of Josiah, the king of Judah, in the 9th month, that all the people in Jerusalem, and all the people who came from the cities of Judah to Jerusalem, proclaimed a fast before Yahweh. Then read Baruch in the book the words of Jeremiah in the house of Yahweh, in the chamber of Gemariah son of Shaphan, the scribe, in the upper court, at the entry of the new gate of Yahweh's house, in the ears of all the people. When Micaiah the son of Gemariah, the son of Shaphan, had heard out of the book all the words of Yahweh, he went down into the king's house, into the scribe's chamber. And behold, all the princes were sitting there, to wit, Elishama the scribe, and Delaiah the son of Shemaiah, and Elnathan the son of Achbor, and Gemariah the son of Shaphan, and Zedekiah the son of Hananiah, and all the princes. Then Micaiah declared to them all the words that he had heard, when Baruch read the book in the ears of the people. Therefore all the princes sent Jehudi the son of Nethaniah, the son of Selemiah, the son of Cushi, to Baruch, saying, Take in your hand the scroll in which you have read in the ears of the people, and come. So Baruch the son of Neriah took the scroll in his hand, and came to them. They said to him, Sit down now, and read it in our ears. So Baruch read it in their ears. Now it happened, when they had heard all the words, they turned in fear one toward another, and said to Baruch, We will surely tell the king of all these words. They asked Baruch, saying, Tell us now, how did you write all these words at his mouth? Then Baruch answered them, He pronounced all these words to me with his mouth, and I wrote them with ink in the book. Then said the princes to Baruch, Go, hide you, you and Jeremiah, and let no man know where you are. They went in to the king into the court, but they had laid up the scroll in the chamber of Elishama the scribe. And they told all the words in the ears of the king. So the king sent Jehudi to get the scroll, and he took it out of the chamber of Elishama the scribe. Jehudi read it in the ears of the king, and in the ears of all the princes who stood beside the king. Now the king was sitting in the winter house in the 9th month, and there was a fire in the brazier before him. It happened, when Jehudi had read 3 or 4 leaves, that the king cut it with the penknife, and cast it into the fire that was in the brazier, until all the scroll was consumed in the fire that was in the brazier. They were not afraid, nor tore their garments, neither the king nor any of his servants who heard all these words. Moreover, Elnathan and Delaiah and Gemariah had made intercession to the king that he would not burn the scroll. But he would not hear them. The king commanded Jerahmeel the king's son, and Seraiah the son of Azriel, and Shelemiah the son of Abdeel, to take Baruch the scribe and Jeremiah the prophet, but Yahweh hid them. Then the word of Yahweh came to Jeremiah, after the king had burned the scroll, and the words which Baruch wrote at the mouth of Jeremiah, saying, Take again another scroll, and write in it all the former words that were in the first scroll, which Jehoiakim the king of Judah has burned. Concerning Jehoiakim king of Judah you shall say, Thus says Yahweh, You have burned this scroll, saying, Why have you written therein, saying, The king of Babylon shall certainly come and destroy this land, and shall cause to cease from there man and animal? Therefore says Yahweh concerning Jehoiakim king of Judah, He shall have none to sit on the throne of David, and his dead body shall be cast out in the day to the heat, and in the night to the frost. I will punish him and his seed and his servants for their iniquity. And I will bring on them, and on the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and on the men of Judah, all the evil that I have pronounced against them, but they didn't listen. Then took Jeremiah another scroll, and gave it to Baruch the scribe, the son of Neriah, who wrote therein from the mouth of Jeremiah all the words of the book which Jehoiakim king of Judah had burned in the fire. And there were added besides to them many like words. End of chapters 30 through 36.